Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. We're joined by William Geen of ALIPAC, Americans for Legal Immigration Reform. ALIPAC, our great friend William Geen, who's been with us for so many years. You know, it's good to have you with us. And let me ask you this before you get rolling here. Why do you care so much that you have started this group? You continue to fight. Your life has been threatened. And let me repeat that again. Your life has been threatened numerous times because of your work to keep America safe. Why do you do it?
Well, because a lot of the people that are coming in to the country, whether it's the criminal element or the political element, the left-wing sort of socialist revolutionary ones, or the ones that will vote Democrats in a permanent power forevermore, like in California, somebody's got to face them first. We're trying to keep them from getting to everybody else. We're not doing the job that we wish we could. We wish that our border was secure and the existing immigration laws were enforced and deportations were at the level that they need to be. But, somebody's got to do this. There's no place to run, and, just sitting there and accepting the invasion is not acceptable.
Well, are we being invaded?
We are, and we have been being invaded, and thousands of Americans are being slaughtered each year by illegal aliens. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Treasury taxes and debt added to us are being stolen from us. Elections are being stolen on a large scale, especially in states like Colorado and Nevada. You see, like a lot of the menacing of the Covington High School boys from the left over this crazy mess. You see it everywhere. These crazy leftists that are going to be put into a permanent monopoly by these illegals if, like, Trump's amnesty bill passes today that we're fighting to stop in the U.S. Senate today, January 24th. This is going to be the way of life for American citizens from now on. These people will be in charge or have a monopoly on all U.S. elections, government, and laws. So, we're trying to do our best to stop that.
Well, let's get right to it. You and Ann Coulter are seemingly in cahoots with your review about the president's policies. Can you expand on that?
Well, I've never met Ann Coulter, and I've never spoken to her. I am a fan, and I believe that she is a person who most closely articulates and the rational Trump base, the people out there who supported Trump not because they thought he could win, not because it was the cool thing to do, not because it was just somebody besides Hillary, the people who supported Trump because of what he promised us, what he told us, the MAGA promises, the Make America Great Again promises, which included his most important and most powerful immigration promises, which everyone with more than two brain cells admits was the most powerful issue that elected Trump despite overwhelming odds. And part of his promises were to end DACA amnesty and to oppose amnesty for illegal immigrants. But today in Washington, we have a vote. We're trying to get people to join us at alipac.us to get on the phones immediately because the Trump-Kushner amnesty bill is going to be voted on today. And the fact that Democrats may or may not accept it is not acceptable to us. This is a huge betrayal of those of us that voted for Trump on immigration issues. And, when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I came in this morning before putting this release out, and there's a thing about Kushner and Trump are meeting with the Open Borders illegal alien supporting La Raza groups like La Raza and LULAC and the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And so it's a full-blown sellout. And that's why here on your show, this will be the first radio show that this is heard on today in America. We just put out a groundbreaking press release titled, Trump and Kushner amnesty leads to draft Ann Coulter for president campaign. This is the very first campaign stop for us here at ALIPAC. Coulter's not campaigning for president, but we are. We want to draft Ann Coulter to run. And if she doesn't run, I'll write her name in. We need somebody to run to the right of Trump or from the populist base against Trump on immigration issues and make it clear to him. Because, see, if you're worried about Trump winning in 2020, his chances just went way down. There are millions of people who voted for him, contributed to him, volunteered for him like I did that will never support the man again now that we know he supports amnesty for illegal aliens, which he specifically lied to us about and told us he wasn't going to do, that he was going to do the opposite. So his chances of beating a Democrat, unless the Democrats field a very, very weak candidate, have just decreased amazingly. If you don't want that to continue or you want Trump to be reelected, if Trump's your guy no matter what, even if you support Trump's amnesty for illegal aliens by continuing to support Trump past this point, which we're arguing you really should rethink. You need to still contact Trump today and contact the U.S. Senate, try to stop this amnesty bill, because if the amnesty bill passes, there'll be millions more Trump supporters like us that won't vote for him ever again. So his electability chances are going down, down, down as he breaks. We're tracking him breaking over 10 different very important immigration-related promises at this point. And if he actually gets the amnesty for illegal aliens through, and you're a conservative or a Republican or a Christian or somebody to the right of Joseph Stalin, the ticker has started. The fuse has been lit almost unstoppably before millions of illegal aliens become Democrat voters and wipe you out of U.S. elections permanently. So if you're out there and you're like, oh, I'm angry because I'm listening to the Kevin Miller Show and this guy's talking about running Ann Coulter against my political god Trump, and I don't like it. Well, I'm trying to fight to save you. I'm trying to save you from being completely buried forevermore by illegal aliens. And, Ann Coulter, I think she could run. I think it would be great for Republicans to support a strong female candidate instead of allowing Democrats to elect the first black and female candidate. That'd give them huge political boost forever. But, Coulter, she has a history on this issue. She's written books about illegal immigration. She has a long history of written and spoken conservative positions on conservative political positions for us to analyze and weigh. Whereas Trump, he had no prior history fighting illegal immigration law. In fact, he derived his credibility on immigration issues from endorsements from people like Ann Coulter and Jeff Sessions and Ali Pack and Joe Arpaio and other people. So I think that Ann Coulter running in a healthy GOP primary to keep everybody on their toes is one of the smartest things we could do. And also, if Trump thinks that he's going to face a GOP primary challenge from his base on immigration, he may pick up the phone and order Jared Kushner to cancel today's meeting with the La Raza groups and pick up the phone to Mitch McConnell and back off on this plan to try to give amnesty to 1 million DACA illegal aliens who we voted for Trump to end DACA and deport.
William Geen joining us, Kevin Miller here. Now, your website, and we're going to continue to talk, Mr. Geen. You and I have known each other for years, but for people that are very angry at you right now, how can they get a hold of you?
You can reach me or join my email alerts to reply to the next one you get and give me an earful, or to join our efforts to draft Ann Coulter for President 2020 at alipac.us, ALIPAC.us. If you're willing to get on the phones with us to the Republicans in the U.S. Senate to fight against the Trump-Kushner-backed amnesty bill for 1 million illegal aliens, which would put, they're even talking about giving these guys green cards now, which puts them on a path to citizenship and full voting rights. We got all the information that you need there in the announcement section at alipac.us, where you can catch up on this issue quick, access all of our background resource information that proves what we're saying is accurate, and get on the phones with our activists in every state today calling the Senate to say no amnesty, no deals on amnesty. Because a border wall from coast to coast, would not work if you give the illegals amnesty.
So let's get back to this. Why do you think the president is capitulating?
I can't say for sure, Kevin. Everybody asks that, and everybody wants to know it, and it's a natural question. But in politics, we can really only judge these people that we elect or campaign for by what they say and what they do. And what we see that's happened is Trump has clearly lied to us about his immigration positions, or reversed his immigration positions, or unfulfilled his immigration positions. And we can see that clearly. We can see that Donald Trump is supporting amnesty for illegal aliens as his primary first thing to do on the immigration issues. And, and today he's going over and trying to get Democrats and La Raza groups and illegal alien supporting groups to support him. And we didn't elect him to do that. So we elected Donald Trump to, keep Americans like us happy with what he does, not Democrats and the illegal aliens. So, whatever his reasons and justifications may be, we can't really say what's in his heart or what is going on, but we can't let any of that, excuse us from getting on the phones and fighting like tooth and nail today. Because, most Americans don't even know there's a big amnesty bill up in front of the Senate today. There's not been the outcry in the press. It hasn't been strong on Fox News. It hasn't even been strong on Drudge Report yet. So we're just now getting out there and getting a lot of people active on these calls when, they're going to vote on it today. Or unless we push them back, they're going to vote on it today.
So let's get back to this issue involving the shutdown. Your group's thoughts on that?
Well, we're sort of a mixed bag. I mean, part of us are like, just go ahead and reopen the government because we didn't really want you to try to shut down the government to give amnesty to illegal aliens or token wall funding for less than 10% of any wall. And it's not, by the way, it's not a wall, folks. It's fencing. We did not want Trump to shut down the government in order to give amnesty to 1 million illegal aliens or more in return for chump change for a wall repairs and wall features for less than 10% of the border. That's not what we had in mind. So either A, go ahead and open the government, or B, leave it closed, because in a lot of ways, the longer they stay closed, the more Americans realize we don't need them.
What about the DACA people? The president says that's on the table as well. I'm sure your ears were burning Saturday when the president gave his big speech. I was surprised he offered the DACA folks 3 years.
Well, and a lot of people say, and this, I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin. There's a lot of confusion out there amongst Trump supporters that do not want to realize that we've been betrayed on this issue and do not want to realize that the president supports amnesty. They say Trump's not supporting amnesty because, A, he didn't say the word amnesty in his speech. Right there, folks, listen, Kevin can vouch for me on this one. For 15 years now, I've been fighting the amnesty that's not an amnesty. Republicans don't want to call it amnesty because they know their legislation's dead the moment it gets labeled amnesty. And B, they know all of you hate amnesty. And 3, they know that Reagan's amnesty was the disaster that caused this one. So no, Trump did not say amnesty. They never do. Okay, DACA is amnesty. A 3-year continuation of DACA is Trump's 3-year continuation of amnesty. DACA is an amnesty. Anything that changes the current penalties of law for illegal aliens, which is deportation, to give them something else and allow them to stay, to encourage them to stay, to make them happy by allowing them to stay, by making future illegal aliens want to come here because they believe they're going to get to stay, is amnesty. You take away that deportation threat, you take away that deportation law, they're going to be here, they're going to stay forever, and there's nothing temporary about this. We've watched for 20 years as all temporary statuses have been renewed infinitum, forever, again and again and again. If those illegal aliens in DACA if Trump takes Obama's illegal and unconstitutional law and makes it a law, first of all, the Supreme Court ruling that's going to rule against these guys goes away. Never
right,
suffers defeat,
and that's what people don't understand. Even Obama said it was unconstitutional, which I don't understand how this can continue on. But he said, well, we'll forget about it and we'll just make it happen anyway.
Well, we certainly didn't elect Trump to make DACA into a permanent law or a law through the Senate or legitimize it or legalize it or make it constitutional by passing it as if people support it, because the truth of the matter is people do not support DACA amnesty. They do not want the illegals here. If given the choice, they want the illegals to go home. And that is what our current laws state is to happen, and that is what the Constitution says is to happen. And the Protection from Invasion Clause and the requirement for the president to enforce the laws that Congress makes, whether he likes them or not. And that is my position. I'm standing with the current laws, and I want the illegal aliens out of here because it's the only way to defuse the socialism bomb that's going to turn all of our political states politically blue forevermore. So, that's where we're standing, and that's where most Americans are. And we know that despite a lot of bogus polls out there trying to convince everybody that, most people want illegal aliens to stay, and you're in a small vocal minority if you want them deported like the harsh racist that you are, that inverted reality is not the truth. The truth is most Americans want the illegals gone. That's why we elected Donald Trump, who was promising to make all the illegals go home. He was specifically confronted about, what was he going to deport the DACA illegals? And he said, listen, we either have a country or we don't. It was one of the things that won him the election. I know everybody out there listening right now remembers Trump saying, we either have a country or we don't. That was about deporting DACAs. Now he doesn't want to deport DACAs. He's not deporting DACAs. He's keeping them here. He's keeping the program up. The program's still running by Trump's own hand. Don't give me some mess about some judge ordering him to do it because he promised to end DACA on his first day in office. He broke that promise on his first day in office, and he kept the DACA program running for over a year until one judge, which he really doesn't have to listen to, gave him cover on the issue. This is about saving our home. This is about saving the United States from a violent invasion and overthrow of our republic, and we are trying to turn back this invasion as we are allowed to and should be able to do through the peaceful political processes of the United States. And Donald Trump and other lying politicians are preventing us from doing that by misleading us and promising us one thing. And I can tell you one thing. Some people may be willing to forgive Trump's lie here and his lie there or 2 or 3 lies or whatever. But I truly believe that the United States will not be saved and will not be secured unless it's by men and women who have integrity, men and women who are honest, and men and women who we elect who keep their campaign promises.
William Geen joining us. AlleyPac, one more time, your organization, if you want some feedback, I'm sure you'll get it. Your website, sir?
Feedback is welcome. More importantly, help today, calling the U.S. Senate to stop Trump-Kushner's amnesty. Kushner is the main guy behind this. Trump has deployed Trump's son-in-law, married to Ivanka, a lifelong Democrat. And we need your support at www.alleypac.us. That's ALIPAC.us.
Thank you, sir. As always, keep the faith, brother.
Thank you, brother.
There we have it. William Geen, uncensored, unfiltered, and he's a conservative bashing the president. Coming up next, the libs would like us to think that it's over for the president. Is it? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
She just went out and said, let's cancel, for the first time in the history of our country, let's cancel the State of the Union address. The super left Democrats, the radical Democrats, what's going on in that party is shocking. I know many people that were Democrats and they're switching over right now, and they're switching over quickly. So I hope they know what they're doing for their party. So far, they haven't. The State of the Union speech has been canceled by Nancy Pelosi because she doesn't want to hear the truth. She doesn't want the American public to hear what's going on. And she's afraid of the truth.
And here we go, the state of the republic. Kevin Miller, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. So here we have this issue where the president is under siege by Ann Coulter, by William Geen, by others. If you've been listening for a while, Fox News polls out said he's the most unpopular that he's ever been. What do you expect them to say? That he's winning? The State of the Union postponed. This is not the darkest time for Donald Trump. No, I applaud Donald Trump for the simple fact that Donald Trump had a life. Donald Trump had a life. He didn't need to jump into politics. He wasn't a politician. Some would say he still isn't a politician, but Donald Trump beat the unbeatable, achieved the unthinkable. And the reason why we have this phony, fake, faux Russian collusion story is because Hillary Clinton is a sore loser. And the reason why we have the government shutdown is because Nancy Pelosi wants to finally stick it to Trump. And the reason why the press continues to inflate the negatives, well, yeah, of course you're going to be not very popular when 90, and I believe it's up to 95% of the coverage of your administration is negative. Look, Trump saves a cat who was stuck in a tree. New headline, Trump scares a cat up to the tree. Cat has no other recourse but to embrace Trump. Cat runs away from Trump. And it's so crucial that we have this time together to be heard at 580-5436. I know you wanting to talk, but just give me a second here. If you want to call in, great. But think about this. Here we have the media. By the way, does anybody know if the government shutdown has impacted Robert Mueller? Has Mueller been shut down? You know, we keep hearing about people that are working without being paid. Maybe Mueller should take a break because they don't have any information. And then when they have no collusion, When they have no information, they plant phony stories to try and get the libs to impeach this president. Now, you take away Donald Trump's negatives. Maybe he should be off Twitter. Maybe he shouldn't call people out. He shouldn't call people names. But you judge his presidency on what he has done for the economy, for the military, for national security, in comparison to his predecessor. And if the guy were a Democrat, they'd be singing his praises. But he isn't. And then you put that together, and we're going to share this clip with you, where people are, and I hate to say that I was right. I used to joke about this with you on this program. That remember when we had a certain group of individuals that were in the closet? And I go, look, there's going to be a day in America where we're in the closet. If you are a conservative, if you love America, if you're a Christian, you are being marginalized when people say that wearing a Make America Great Again hat is the same thing as wearing a hood with the Ku Klux Klan. And we're not talking about fringe people. We're talking about major media outlets. And unlike unlike generations that follow us, there are a lot of people that lack or don't want the critical thinking skills that agree with it, that don't challenge that perspective. 107.5 FM, 580 AM, Kevin Miller in the morning, traffic and weather together.
News Channel 7's Eric Gebert.
Liberty Linda, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. You know, there's so much going on. You need an extra 3 hours today.
I'm with you.
And you just said what I was thinking. I think I knew William Dean and met with his group in California when I was there. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was him. So, anyway, first of all, I'd like to say that Russ Polcher is making us so proud of him. He's already fighting for the people of the United States. He's going out and saying truth. I'm so proud of him. I'm just, bursting out of the buttons, as they say. And, regarding the abortion bill, I think that's a wonderful thing that's going on. After having a very dear friend decide to have an abortion after her boyfriend left her, and seeing what she went through after she had it, what it does to a woman, not realizing what she was doing. Anyway, we need to stick up for the life of the baby. We have too much of that. This nation, we just don't understand why and what's going on there. And anyway, it doesn't surprise me that our buddy has been talking to the president. I said all along that probably the president will give him something to do, in Washington, D.C. So that doesn't surprise me at all. And so anyway, I just want to thank you for your show today and bringing us all this information, Kevin. There's almost too much to take in today. And so maybe tomorrow you should have 3 more hours. What do you think?
Well, we'll have to talk to Mr. Beck about that.
Anyway, thank you for your wonderful show. Thank you for letting us know everything that's going on. And I'm still for the president. I think he's doing a marvelous job. I think he turned it right back on to Pelosi, and she probably doesn't know what to do now. To say all of it was to bring him down, to bring our president down. That's what I believe. So I still think he's doing the right thing. I'm still for him, and I think we should have Tommy Ahlquist, not this time run for president, but the next time. So,
well, fair enough.
That's what I'm thinking this morning. And Kevin, you have the greatest show there is. I love your show. Keep up the good work.
We're humbled to have you a part of it. Thank you, Liberty Linda.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
You too.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And coming up, more of your phone calls about the news that matters to you. Don't forget, KIDO Talk Radio reporting Congressman Labrador meeting with the president yesterday. Details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. We are postponing our State of the Union watch party because the State of the Union has been postponed. And, of course, the top local story that Representative Heather Scott, who called in earlier today, and Representative Green have put a bill together banning abortion in Idaho. We'll have more on that coming up. I do want to thank Representative Zito for calling in, Representative Scott for calling in and making themselves available. They realize the value of this audience. They realize the value of what you bring to the table. And as you know, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM is your exclusive home for Fox News Radio here in the Treasure Valley, where we go live to the White House. John Decker joining us live from the very White House. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going today?
Not bad. Of course, big meetings, as always, in the White House yesterday, and the State of the Union postponed. Were people surprised about that based on the people that you talked to, sir?
Well, no. I mean, those that are very familiar with the rules of the House of Representatives were not surprised. You know, when Nancy Pelosi sent a letter in the early part of the afternoon to the White House saying that she would not bring up what's known as a concurrent resolution on the House of Representatives floor, which would have essentially invited the president to the State of the Union address. That made it clear to me and to others that are familiar with the House rules that she essentially had checkmate on the president. And the president, realizing that fact later in the day, actually in the early evening or late evening, saying that he would not be doing his State of the Union address on the 29th, a week from this past Thursday, and would not be looking for an alternative venue for the State of the Union. So he's going to do the State of the Union. He's only going to do it when the government reopens, and we don't have a date, obviously, for when that will happen.
Right. Are people surprised the president didn't do an alternative? It had been rumored he would do it from the White House, he'd do it from the border, but he stood down on this one.
Yeah, I think that the president realized the majesty of doing it in the House chamber cannot be replicated anywhere. It just can't. You know, you can't replicate what, you know, the optics are for doing a State of the Union are in the House chamber if you go to the state capital of West Virginia or the state capital of Michigan. The U.S. Capitol is very unique. The president realized that. He still wants to have that opportunity, and he'll have that opportunity. But I'll only have that opportunity once there is, an end to this impasse and government reopens.
John Decker, let's talk a little bit about security concerns in and around the White House. What's the latest there?
Well, every day I come to the White House, I say hello to my friends who work for the Secret Service. They continue to come to work and do a great job on behalf of the American people, and they continue to guard the White House, and they continue to guard the president, and they're doing all of that without getting paid. But despite that, they're doing a professional job, and I think despite that, the White House and the president are as well protected as they always are. That being said, yesterday there was a letter that was signed by all the former secretaries of Homeland Security. So both on the Democratic side, like Jay Johnson, who served under President Obama, and on the Republican side, including the first Homeland Security Secretary, Tom Ridge, and also, in addition to that, you also had the president's first Homeland Security Secretary, General John Kelly, signing a letter in which they said, this is hurting our nation's security, the fact that there is a partial government shutdown.
Well, where do we go from here, John Decker? I suppose we're going to have some bills on the Senate today.
Yeah, we will. Those bills are not likely to get the 60 votes that are needed to move them forward. And then what happens? Well, I think then what happens is sort of Plan B. Plan B is having lawmakers from the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, coming over to the White House and the leadership and beginning negotiations anew to reopen the government. And that would mean that both sides would have to obviously consider some sort of accommodation, some sort of compromise. And hopefully we see that happen because there are people that are being very much impacted by this partial government shutdown.
John, we appreciate you. You have a great day, sir.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Have a great day. Talk to you real soon.
Yes, sir. There we have it. John Decker joining us from the White House. Let's go to Tea Party Bob, who joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tea Party Bob.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
Living the dream, and you?
Well, I'm living your cold is what I'm doing today.
You sound a little stuffed up. Maybe you should have some oregano.
Yeah, right. Maybe I should have a little oregano on my pizza.
That's what that doctor told us earlier today.
Yes, of course. I've been listening to your show very intently this morning, from Representative Christy Zito to William Gee, and I must say this is one of the best shows you've have hosted in some time. On the subject of New York's new law permitting abortions for full-term pregnancies, this is an abomination and I believe an insult to the founders of our country and to anyone who believes in Jesus Christ. It is a terrible situation when we give our elected officials the ability to kill babies and allow killers who have been sentenced to death to live. This is truly a world turned upside down, and I'm not sure that we're ever going to be able to change it back. On William Gee, he's right about Trump making promises and that he would be breaking some of them with the DACA, but does he really think he can get someone like Ann Coulter elected president? I don't think so. I believe he's on a fool's errand. With Gee, there is no compromise on immigration.
He said that Trump has betrayed him.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure about Gee and his thinking process. There is with him, there's no compromise to the immigration issue. But tell me how you deport 1 million people who, through no fault of their own, are in this country and know nothing else. Where do you send them? Where do they have a place to go? So I tell Mr. Gee to wake up. It's time to solve the problem, not create new ones. Let's find a solution to this problem where these people can become useful and productive citizens of the country, but only if we get the immigration laws changed so that we don't have this happen again. And as far as Representative Scott, she's a brave soul bringing up this bill on abortion. And
for people that don't understand that, she introduced a bill along with Representative Green that would end abortion in Idaho.
As I said, she's a brave soul bringing up this bill on abortion, and I certainly hope it passes, but I fear that she will find that most of the moderate Republicans in our legislature don't want to stick their necks out, and she's not going to be able to get the vote she wants for this bill. But good luck in any case. Kevin, thank you again for your show. You're a blessing to this Treasure Valley, and keep up the good work, my friend.
As long as they'll have me. Thank you, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go to Tess with Kevin Miller on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tess.
Hi. Hey, good morning. Well, just real quickly about President Trump, I'm kind of glad that he's waiting because, he's following the Constitution, which says you're not supposed to sit in front of a camera and address Congress. You're supposed to walk in and speak to Congress face to face. So good for him. I'm glad to see that they're looking at the abortion issue. I'll tell you, in 1998, we had a friend who was pregnant and wanted an abortion. Her husband wouldn't allow it. She left work, went and had an abortion anyway, and about 30 days later, she was in such a severe depression. She left work, went home, put a gun to her head, and killed herself. And so people don't look at those other consequences. Here in the state of Idaho, I don't think people would be surprised to know that Planned Parenthood only has 3 clinics, Boise, Meridian, and Twin Falls. Well, why do you have one in Twin Falls? And they actually offer vasectomies to men, including doing different types of abortion. Well, maybe it's because if you look at how that area is broken up by ethnicity, it wouldn't surprise you because it's the same type of breakup for ethnicity in New York, who now allows you to kill up to basically birth. Look at how high those racial mixes are. So maybe Idaho should also take a look at, how about if you can't come into the state of Idaho and get an abortion? Because we do have people traveling from out of state on funds from an abortion group who come in here. Maybe they ought to look at residency issues. How about that?
Obviously, you've researched the issue more than me. I didn't know that Planned Parenthood does vasectomies now.
Well, they do down in Twin Falls. They don't do them here in Boise or Meridian. So that should give people kind of a heads up. Because how many Caucasian guys do you think are going to walk in and ask for that? Not very many. But if you're down around where Chobani works and the big farms and ranches are, you have high groups down there, that are refugees and immigrants working for Chobani or working down in those areas. What's the likelihood they're going to go in and ask for that? Maybe higher than usual because of their circumstances.
All right. We appreciate your insight there. Thank you for the on-the-field reporting.
Thank you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller with you here before Glenn Beck, talking about the government shutdown. In addition to that, if you're just tuning in, Representative Scott putting a bill before the legislature to end abortion in Idaho. Former Congressman Labrador meeting with the president yesterday. That story is on KIDOTalkRadio.com. And the president saying, well, we're going to postpone the State of the Union.
The State of the Union speech has been canceled by Nancy Pelosi because she doesn't want to hear the truth. She doesn't want the American public to hear what's going on. And she's afraid of the truth.
Pelosi responded,
since government is shut down, we do not. Let's work together on a mutually agreeable date when we can welcome you to the Capitol to get rid of the State of the Union address.
We will see what happens. The president saying the Democrats have been radicalized.
Mr. President, Nancy Pelosi just responded, and she said she will not consider a concurrent resolution to have you come to the House on January 29th to deliver the State of the Union. Your response to the House Speaker?
I'm not surprised. It's really a shame what's happening with the Democrats. They've become radicalized. They don't want to see crime stop, which we can very easily do on the southern border. And it really is a shame what's happening with the Democrats.
Have the Democrats become radicalized? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget, Dave Ramsey after Glenn Beck, the place to be heard, KIDO Talk Radio. Aaron in Boise, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Aaron.
Good morning. I've never called in before, so thanks for taking my call. I just had a question because I might be a little naive on how the government works, but is Nancy Pelosi and all the Democrats getting a salary right now while there's a partial shutdown?
Yep.
Okay, so what could we do, or is there any rules or laws that maybe we turn on paychecks for all those that are out of work right now to the partial shutdown, but take away their salaries until they can agree on all the issues that we're debating about?
I would agree with you on that. I think they should all, and, here's where it hurts. Every member of their staff shouldn't be paid either.
Right, because I feel like if we took their salary away, maybe they'd come to a conclusion real quick, and then they would really know how the Americans that are hurting feel.
I would agree with you on that, and maybe some other people would share that, but it's out of hand. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better, and somebody needs to do something about it. So thank you, Aaron, and don't be a stranger. Call in at any time. We love hearing from new people.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of new people calling in. We appreciate that, whether it's on 107.5 FM or 580 AM KIDO Talk Radio, and that's due to your perseverance, your passion for politics as we continue on covering the big news of the day. And, the old saying, that it's always darkest before the dawn. And you have a lot of conservatives, a lot of big-time conservatives, Glenn Beck being one of them, that didn't back President Trump during the campaign. Glenn made a mistake, and look, Glenn Beck's great. And I think if he could go back over again, maybe he would do things differently, but very successful young man. We appreciate him coming on right after us, but he made a mistake, and he fell in love with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a great guy. And Ted Cruz is a conservative and certainly a wonderful politician, but after Cruz lost, Mr. Beck continued on with, well, I like Trump, I don't like Trump. And, people say life is many shades of gray. Not in this case. You are either with the president or you're not. And you're going to have a lot of people in the media saying, well, is it over for Trump? Look at the poll numbers. And you're going to have a lot of squishy jellyfish saying, ooh, he canceled the State of the Union. Ooh. And what these people are modern day parasites. They're the same type of people that are in the media that attack little boys. That's what they are. They're bullies. And when you stand up to a bully, they cower down. And sometimes in life, whether you're working on a farm, you're in the military, whatever group you're in, you have to stand your ground and accept the consequences for your actions. Unfortunately, we have a press that has focused 95% of the coverage against the President of the United States, when you had 95% of the coverage that was backing up Obama. And to me, you have to earn things yourself. I cannot stand people that are propped up and then they're so full of themselves. When you have people that, like our friend in Weiser, John in Weiser, who's out there farming today, every day, there's no day off for good, hardworking Americans. So to quote the great Sean Hannity, let your heart not be troubled when we see these poll results. The State of the Union, my own personal opinion, I think the president should have done it from the White House. That's my own opinion. But he'll give a State of the Union speech, and I think it would have given him the high ground. But Pelosi is showing exactly what she is, a progressive, devious little lib that does not want to compromise. Remember during the midterms, everyone's talking about, well, we need divided government. So are you happy with divided government right now, where we're going to investigate everything that has happened to him or anyone else around him, from stubbing their toe to the phony, fake Russian collusion story? We're going to use federal resources for that. Hey, how about that infrastructure bill that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were going to do? No, there is no negotiation. The point has been proven. The president has come to the table many, many times. They do not want to stop this until he is done. And they're nothing but whiny, sore losers. How else can you explain this? We have to stand with him. And I will continue to do so each and every morning as long as you'll have me right here. That's the point. It's very great. You know, it's very easy to do this when you're winning. But when times are tough, that's when we all come together. 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's get you to work safely and on time. And I'm Kevin Miller, and that's really what it comes down to. And I was just biting my tongue. If you're listening in the 7 o'clock hour, Tanya J. Powers talking about these polls, of course it's all going to be negative. Even when the president's winning, even though gas prices are at historic lows and employment is at historic highs, they're going to, we've got to work more jobs. They're going to be negative. They don't want us to win. They don't want a wall. And to those people that are working for free, let me just say this. Thank you. Thank you. I don't understand what that's like. I've been fired more times than most people, but dude, working for free, thank you. And here's what we should do. Thank a Fed today. God bless. Ray, my outstanding job as always. Stay tuned. Glenn Beck is next. The talk continues this afternoon with Sean Hannity. God bless and keep the faith.